Hello and welcome to the Conversation Street Awards 2020. Happy New Year, everybody!
Hooray, Happy New Year!
It is January. It's not actually January, is it? We're recording this on New Year's Eve as we're sitting here on our sofa. We're getting ready to, these wild parties between the two of us and the cat that we're going to be having tonight. But for you, it is a new year.
We're not doing anything different to what we normally would do, except we don't have to think of an excuse.
Yeah, we haven't been out for New Year's Eve for ages, so it's fine.
I find it very depressing.
And there's a Corrie on tonight anyway, we'll be absolutely fine. So
I'm going to be even more depressed
Conversation
today.
Street.
Let's cheer ourselves
Awards.
up with some awards.
It's definitely going to cheer us up.
Yay!
Thank you very, very much. All the hundreds of people that have voted in the awards. It's always one of my highlights of the year, finding out who has been picked, because throughout the time that the vote is going on, we never have a sneaky peek, do we, at who's coming top of the polls.
No, these awards are different from other awards, aren't they?
Yes, they're the best.
Because they are
and there's not an actual physical award
by connoisseurs of Coronation Street. Not like these riff-raff awards that let anybody vote.
These are voted by people who know what they're talking about.
Yeah, that's right. That's you. You're the one listening.
Listeners,
if you voted, of course, if you haven't voted, then you can't complain about the results, just like a real election.
As
we're
always,
electing winners today, aren't we?
We are. As always with the Conversation Street Awards, the listener vote counts for 2/3 of the overall vote, and then I get a sixth, and Gemma gets a sixth, just because, it's our awards,
It is our awards.
We didn't look at the votes before we picked ours.
We don't look at the results.
We put our own results in and then revealed it all.
And we don't look at each other's results, so we can't gang up on you.
No, we do not. We do not.
Which is annoying sometimes. But this year, I'm so pleased with all the winners.
I'm really happy with how the winners turned out this year, and I hope that you will as well, dear listeners.
Like them.
We've got 13 awards to run down this afternoon, and who knows how long this will take. But before we get any further, just wanted to say that we are not going to do what we usually do on this awards podcast yet, which is going and doing like a rundown of the year, other bits that haven't been awarded, predictions and all that. We're going to push that probably to next week's podcast or the week after, just because as the years have gone on, we just witter on longer and longer. And
I don't know if you've noticed.
I can't face a 10-hour podcast editing it all together, so we'll stretch it out.
Can I just say I want to do the predictions as soon as possible, because I work really hard on my predictions, and I don't want them to get proven wrong in the first week. We have got our predictions,
before they've even just have to wait a little bit longer.
Before I even get a chance to tell everyone what my predictions are, they're going to get proven wrong.
You didn't just look at the TV guide for next week, did you, and base all your predictions on that?
Yeah, that's sinkhole twist.
Right, so let's kick off with the awards, shall we? So here's on our first one. Okay, so our first award today is the AOP Award, which we give to the strongest newcomer, best new character of the year.
Yeah.
And there weren't too many characters that came into Coronation Street. It was like there was some kind of quarantine around it or something.
There actually were. There were enough new significant characters for us to be able to fill our category with strong contenders. And I think every year we have the same thing where they're like, no, not very many new people this year. But if you get 5 or so sort of new characters, some of them permanent, some of them just in it for a storyline in a year, it's pretty average, I think.
And I think a lot of the characters here people do have strong opinions on as well. Some of them, everyone's got a favourite. Everyone's got something to say about all
I think so.
Our nominees here.
So who are they?
We had Arthur, who made a return to the show.
He did, didn't he?
Just yesterday's episode, didn't he? And then
not in time for the voting, though.
No. We had Nikki, the sex worker, Scott, the criminal, Sam,
the adorable child,
and George, the Undertaker. Shall we find out who's been voted AOP Award winner?
Yeah, go on then.
2020. Well, the winner of this year's AOP Award for Best Newcomer is Sam!
Yay!
Well, congratulations, Sam. 77.22%. It was a bit of a landslide for Mr. Blakeman there, wasn't it?
Is it really fair to pit Sam against these other people when it was clear that he was so adorable that he would definitely win?
He has won by the power of cuteness. I mean, it's got to be something, hasn't it? Because he's only been in 14 episodes so far this year. He started off, his first episode was your birthday on the 2nd of October.
It's like it was a present just for me.
It was. 14 episodes. 2 of those episodes, it was only his voice as well. So he's made a really big impression on the viewers.
He really has.
In just a short amount of time. And he was, I mean, we've talked about it on the podcast before, a character, the very second he leapt onto the screen, he won our hearts.
I know.
Which doesn't happen very often.
We are very primed to not really take to child characters too much, especially when they're obviously trying to be super cute.
Well, sometimes it's not just child characters, it's new characters in general.
Like,
and we're like, come on then, work for us, make us like you.
Yeah, so mean. But
Jude Riordan didn't have to do that.
Coronation Street has got a really good track record of adorable children, and also hiring very talented child actors, because he's not just adorable, he's also a very, very good performer.
Well, he burst onto the screens in 2017 where he was on The Secret Life of 5-year-olds about Jude Riordan, and you can see a clip of that
adorable.
On YouTube as well. I had a look the other day, but he's done a few adverts, he's done some children's BBC shows, he's done Brassic on Sky One alongside Michelle Keegan, but yeah, last year he decided to give Corrie a go.
What a great idea.
And they decided to let him have a try as well.
Yeah.
So it was a bit of before the character came on the show as well, we kind of were thinking that this character might have existed, because when Natasha appeared, his mum, there were lots of rumours going around the internet saying, oh, I bet she's got a secret son of Nick's, oh, retcon. And that was another reason why I was, in my head, very
not looking forward particularly.
Yeah, exactly. But
because you don't like retcons, I don't really like them either. But the retcon involved here was the fact that Natasha, one of the reasons that she left originally and got herself in a bit of bother with the old Tilsley Platts, was that she aborted her child.
Yes,
supposedly
Nick's child.
But then she got pregnant, didn't she, with Sam
in a very short window.
Immediately afterwards. We won't talk about it.
Doesn't matter.
It happened, people, in this fictional world. So
yeah, and he grew up, enjoyed space, and then made his first appearance when. I can't remember what happened. I don't think he appeared in that big twist where we found out that Natasha had a son, because she sees Nick at the hospital and pretends to be there for a dermatology appointment.
We find out that Sam exists before we meet him.
That's right. Nick overhears Natasha talking about him.
Yeah.
And then Nick does his little investigating online.
I hope he's
finds
all right.
out that
What's his appointment
Natasha's been in no more. He had a broken leg or something. I don't know.
Healed fast, isn't it?
Nick finds out that Natasha's not been in any relationship since, so it means that Sam must definitely be his. So he sends him this space themed letter first, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Which is very cute, with rockets and stars and stuff drawn over him, because Natasha's told him that Nick works for NASA.
For God's sake.
And that's what inspires him. That's what set him down the path of becoming a future astrophysicist, or whatever he's going to grow out to be.
Natasha's not actually apologised for this, has she?
No.
Most children would be crushed to find out that your dad has a casual job bossing his sister around at a knicker factory.
Yeah.
You don't really know what Nick does for a living, do you?
Don't know what any of them do for a living. Yeah, basically. Anyway, he and that's it. I mean, he's been back and forth. He's had short stints, hasn't he?
Yeah,
coming into it, he's left a few cute voicemails. He generally tends to appear when it's most awkward for Leanne, and is going to cause the most amount of grief and drama for her.
From that perspective, he's also great, because things that antagonise Leanne are some of my favourite things, along with Noses on Kittens.
It was really cute though. Do you remember the first time when Sam meets Leanne at the hospital and she's ready to, she's got her guard up,
pull his head off,
and then she sees him and she just kind of melts as well.
I know, he's so sweet.
In the face of his overwhelming cuteness.
It's a charm offensive.
Yeah, but it doesn't last too long, because
she's shouting at him for making him cook him a turkey.
Oh no, she tried hard with that turkey. She did shout at him once when he turned up at Ollie's funeral when he wasn't invited.
She also shouted at him for dismantling Ollie's precious music box.
Yeah. So I think there's still a way to go until the waters are smooth between Sam and Leanne, which I'm sure will happen at some point. I'm sure that they'll be all happy families by this time next year. Oliver, who? So.
Oh no, that's so so mean.
Congratulations,
It
Jude.
helps when you actually get script written for you, which Ollie didn't.
No, he did not. Oh, moo. That says all Ollie's had to say for himself this year.
In second place was George.
Yes, George was
and
second.
Arthur was third. And I think
place.
Arthur might have got higher scores if we had seen him return when the
Possibly.
voting was open, but alas, we didn't.
Yeah, never mind. Okay, now we have got something quite special before we move on to the next award, because we've reached out to some of our winners this year for acceptance speeches, and although we don't have them by all means from everybody, we do have an acceptance speech from young Jude.
I'm so excited!
So, here's Jude's reaction to finding out that he's the winner of this year's AOP Award.
Hi everyone, it's Jude. So, best newcomer, eh? I would like to make a huge thank you for everyone who has voted for me for Best Newcomer on Conversation Street podcast. I am really happy, and I hope everyone has a happy new year, and I would like to say bye!
Ah, so cute! Do you think he gets sick of people saying he's cute? He's going to go through that moody teenage phase in a couple of years' time.
It would be
rebel against it.
I don't know.
All of these cutesy videos is going to be shown on his 18th birthday. You just know that. Anyway, thank you very much, Jude, for sending in that audio clip. Well, that was a video you sent us, wasn't it? So
yes.
If you keep an eye on our social media over the next few days, I'm sure you'll see it pop up there as well. But thank you very much. And good luck.
Well deserved win. Very excited to see what will happen with Sam over the next year.
Me too. Right, let's move on and do our next award.
This is an award, I think this is some stiff competition here. This is the TORAH Award for leaving characters. And as we know, in a soap, the way characters leave can sometimes be quite spectacular. And we have got a pretty strong lineup here of great exits, haven't we?
Yeah, and I can imagine like a situation where at the beginning of the year all the soap stars are lined up in the boss's office and they've all got trapdoors underneath them, and you never know who's going to be. It's going to be like pop-up pirate or something. Is that mixed metaphors, trapdoor and pop-up pirate?
No, I don't think you can have them both together. But you know what? It's New Year's Eve and...
Never mind.
Everyone's drunk.
We've said goodbye to a good number of Corrie actors and actresses this year, and so we can only choose 5 for our nominees.
Do you remember when we used to write a script for this?
Yeah.
I think we're doing pretty well with that one, aren't we?
We're absolutely fine.
The 5 nominees that we've picked for TORAH are Robert, got shot.
And then she got shot and forgot.
Yeah.
That's Robert's story.
Oh, bless. That's probably always gravestone instead. Actually, I bet he doesn't even have one.
Gravestone, does he?
Oh.
He's probably still lying there outside the room. Has anyone checked?
People just like...
So Jenny and Daisy had to kick him out of the way when they set up that mulled wine stall the other day. They just
put the table over the top of him. Ali, the doctor, who left in disgrace after beating up Gary Windass.
Yeah.
Or being beaten up by him.
Now in prison.
Yeah. Oliver, we all know what happened with Oliver. Absolutely tragic. He died, sadly. We've got Jeff.
Yeah, we can laugh about these things.
He got pushed off a roof.
He didn't get pushed. He slipped. He did it to himself.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. We do like to rewrite history on Conversation Street, but we have to stop. We have to stop saying Ken got killed and Shona got shot in the head.
Jeff just had a slip.
Jeff
fell off the roof.
Jeff tried to get...
Plucked by chickens.
Yeah, plucked or pecked?
Pecked.
He tried to get Yasmin to save him, but she couldn't do it.
Speaking of chickens, our 5th nominee this year is Charlotte Bronte, and it's the first time that we've had an animal as a nominee on the TORAH Awards. But I thought that her death was particularly significant in the whole coercive control storyline, and it certainly made me sit up and pay attention. So I thought we just absolutely had to include her as a nominee this year.
If we had been doing these awards for years and years and years, we definitely would have had an animal in it at a certain point, because I would have wanted to nominate Schmeichel.
Yeah.
Because I think that was absolutely tragic. But Charlotte, we didn't know her that well, so...
Alas, but we never shall.
No, I know, it's too late now.
My New Year's resolution for 2021 is to try and get to know the other chickens better before they're taken away by Bernard Matthews.
A big coop in the sky.
Right, Gemma, I'd like to I'll pass it over to you to announce the winner of this award.
The winner of the TORAH Award for 2020 goes to Jeff.
Jeff Metcalf.
Evil Jeff.
Congratulations, Jeff.
It was a pretty close run thing because Charlotte was not that far behind him. I think it's just a testament to the power of that coercive control storyline, really. I think lots of people who voted for Charlotte were voting for Jeff as well, so...
Yeah, lots of people were very happy to see the back of Jeff, so his exit certainly made a splash. He would have made probably more of one if he'd fallen off and into the hot tub, if he just, angled his trajectory a little bit to the left, maybe. But no, Jeff's exit was certainly something to behold on the 60th anniversary week, wasn't it?
Very
Starting
poetic.
off with his takedown in court with Imran's firing his evidence at him, which for many people was the highlight of the week. And from there, he did. I remember when he got out. Well, he ended up storming out, didn't he? Then tried to take Yasmin home as if nothing had happened.
That's right.
And then he comes and pops up at her flat the next day.
Still keeps trying to act like...
He's insistent. Acting like everything's normal. But that was quite scary, wasn't it? Because she pulls up the blinds and he's there with his magician's flowers. Yeah. So he tries to make an escape with Christine to Cyprus and gives Yasmin a little bit of chance to go back to the house, clear all her stuff, because as far as he's concerned, he's sold up to Ray, and it's... who knows what he's going to throw out in the skip. So Yasmin goes back to the house. He starts stealing money from Speed Dial, gets accosted by Alia. He whacks her around the head, which is another point for me for Jeff's exit.
Whacks who? Oh yeah, he hits Alia with a cash tin. That was so funny.
Not hard enough.
Mean. Did the sale of the house go through? Because he sold it to Ray for a very small amount of money, didn't he? And then he was gonna give the rest of him to him under the table. So he must have bought that house.
I think it has, and I think there might be
the cash.
I think there might be a few extra bits of house stuff happening in the episodes of Coronation Street between now and when this is going out. So let's not get too far. Possibly, I don't know.
He sets fire to the house, but
very small, and
it was just an illusion.
It's a mini fire.
No, it was an illusion. It was a magic fire. That's the only explanation. There's literally no scorch marks, and we've got a soot mark on our wallpaper from a candle. So I don't know how he managed to do that. Very impressive. Magic. It is magic. He chases Yasmin onto the roof.
And this is where he falls off. She tries to rescue him, though, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does.
Bless her.
She tries to help him with her scarf, but he was probably worried it was a trick scarf. He slips and falls off.
He should have grabbed hold of it and then just kept coming out of her sleeve.
As soon as he slips off the roof, just kind of grabbing bits of flag, turns into a flag for some reason.
Or he could have thrown up his hanky scarves and it could have gone the other way. That would have been ironic. Well, he did get quite an ironic death as it goes, didn't he? Lying there amongst the chickens, the remaining chickens, plucking away at him. Sadly not,
Sadly not actually pecking him, but...
I think lots of people enjoyed the poetic justice of that, and then off he jiggled.
Great
as Kathy
performance by those stunt chickens there.
Henny and Bartholomew, not bad either.
No.
I remember not wanting Jeff to die, and I still think, looking back on it, maybe there would have been a bit more mileage if they'd kept him alive. But I mean, he wouldn't have been able to haunt Yasmin on Christmas Day if he'd still been alive.
That is very true.
I did enjoy that
he
scene.
haunted her dreams when he wasn't dead, so...
Oh, yeah.
Don't underestimate the power of Jeff.
Dead or alive, Jeff is out to get you. But I suppose it seemed, in a way, it seemed satisfying, and it was the 60th anniversary episode as well, so maybe they made the right decision. I have to maybe leave it a little bit longer before I can decide for sure whether I was happy with him dying.
Well, I thought it was, in Coronation Street and soaps in general, if you're a villain, one of the best ways to get rid of you is to kill you off.
Yeah.
And
we didn't even get to see his funeral, did we?
No.
Anyway, I think that's about all we've got to say for that one.
And it was the 60th anniversary special, so that's pretty... That. Oh, I wasn't. I was thinking about dinner.
Long way to go. Chicken dinner, is it?
No.
Right, congratulations Ian Bartholomew for making a big hit with that exit. I think it's time to move on to the next award. Hello, love.
Hello.
So it's time for our next award, the Hello Love Award, where we award the best new couple of the year.
Now, this was the hardest one to get
really
nominees
tricky
for.
this
The
year
thing
because-
about new romances in 2020 is that you can't show them touching each other.
No holding hands.
No
pecks on the cheek. No waking up in bed next morning together.
No, I don't mind
All
saying
off the
goodbye to
cards.
those scenes.
All off the table, yeah. But for the first half of the year, we had a couple of new couplings and then a few socially distanced ones in the second half. So we just about managed to fill our nominee list.
Yeah.
So thank you for everybody who did their best to vote for this one in difficult circumstances. I can only hope that next year somehow they'll be able to work it out so we have a few more...
Well, Corrie's
a
not
few bigger romances
really
blossoming.
been very good at romances, in my opinion.
Oh, wow.
Well, anyway, so this is...
Who are our nominees this year, Gemma?
So, I just want to say, don't want to diss everything in this category. There are some really good couplings here. So, here are the nominees. Evelyn and Arthur.
They're now split up.
Oh. Daniel and Nikki.
Now split up.
Asha and Corrie.
Still together.
They're together.
Still there.
Faye and Craig.
What's the latest with those two? She has been to bed with Ray since, so they haven't split. I think they've split up. I think they have.
Okay, Michael and Grace.
It's not that they will be soon. Split.
Oh.
But she's got a baby that she's going to have, so I'm sure that we'll see her face again. So let's find out who the winner of this is. It's going to be me that announces this one. The winner of the LO Love 2020 award is Evelyn and Arthur.
Oh, now I like that.
Congratulations.
They're sweet, don't you?
I think they're lovely. That got 66.91% of the vote, with Faye and Craig in second place, and then Daniel and Nikki in third. But I think I very much support the winners here because it's always nice to see.
I want to say
an older couple getting together.
Of the top 5 here, 3 of the top 5 are like completely toxic relationships that should never have even taken place. Daniel and Nikki, what a dumpster fire. Asha and Corrie, now I really hate Corrie. I think he's an obnoxious little
he's supposed to come across as nasty.
I can't wait for her to realise what a dick he is and dump him. And Michael and Grace, living a lie.
I mean, yeah, to be honest, Evelyn and Arthur, you could say that when one of them's married and holding a massive secret,
I know, it's bad, isn't it?
That's not so good either. But
they weren't. The thing is, they weren't like boyfriend and girlfriend. They were like stepping out, weren't they?
They were for a long time.
They were courting.
I can't remember whenabouts in the year. It must have been fairly early in the year that we first saw Arthur, because he comes along and he meets her at the vets, doesn't he? And the backstory is that she and him used to go dancing together back in the day.
Yeah.
He goes off to emigrate to Canada, but she didn't see him go or something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but he thought that she was, dumping him or dissing him or,
It's very easy to think
erasing him from her life. But I'm sure she had an excuse, but I can't remember what it was. But now back together, and over the year we've seen as part of the gradual defrostification process of Evelyn, we've seen him melt her stone cold old lady heart, and she's let him in. And that was the story, wasn't it? I know it had a bit of a break in the summer when we couldn't have Paul or Maureen on the show. But yeah, we've seen her gradually letting him in.
Bless.
Going on a date.
Emotionally, not physically. That's gross. Stop thinking that.
Oh, he tried that, didn't he? He tried to get into her tent when they went on that camping trip together.
She'd get the flaps closed.
Disgusting.
Hope she's not listening to this bit.
I did enjoy as well earlier on in the year. Do you remember when Claudia gave her a makeover? I think that was for their first proper date.
Brilliant, loved it.
And she looked like a chihuahua in a wind tunnel.
Not Claudia and Evelyn's date.
Into the script, that's what she thought anyway. So they went off on holiday. He tried to
he tried to move to the next level,
but then they kind of split up for a bit, and they have their talk, and we discovered that he's having secret sneaky off trips to the hospital.
Is he sick,
or does he have a secret relative? It was going to be one of the two, and then it turned out yes, he's got a wife who had a stroke a few years ago, doesn't remember him.
How convenient.
And he's kind of
waiting for her to die.
It's basically one of these situations where
very
it's
mean.
not the woman he married kind of thing.
Yeah.
and so he's been deceiving Evelyn all this time.
Yes.
And so she showed him the door, gave him the boot, and that was it for Evelyn and Arthur. But he has come back now, so I'm sure romance will blossom. And maybe if we wish on that New Year's star really, really hard, Arthur's wife will pass away peacefully at some point in the new year, so they can be together.
No, she won't forgive him for lying.
I think she will, because she took the book, didn't she?
That's true. What was it called? Age of Innocence.
Yeah, I really do love those together, and I don't know whether Paul has got a long future in the show, because he's quite a prestigious actor, but then so is Maureen Lipman.
I know.
And I think that they've got really nice on-screen chemistry together. Although I wouldn't want Evelyn to completely lose her hard edge. I think it's nice seeing her.
Yeah, I can't see a long. I just think that battle axes work better when they're single, because it makes them more bitter and mean.
Breed.
Right. Okay.
We've also had a lot of Tyrone making fun of them as well. That's been quite
an
important part of this storyline. So
bless him.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of Tyrone, there were theories at the beginning of the year that Arthur might end up turning out to be his granddad, and nothing's come of that. But you never know.
But Evelyn's his grandma.
Yes. He thinks. But the theory goes is that
she didn't know that she got impregnated by a man.
Yeah, that she went dancing with.
She didn't know. So how many people is she dancing with?
I don't know.
I think that she would know.
Just saying what a theory
was.
I
understand. I'm just saying.
I heard it here first, apart from I'm reporting on someone else saying it. It might happen. And we're not doing predictions this week, so...
Is that one of your predictions?
No.
Okay.
It's not. Anyway, congratulations to Maureen Lipman, Paul Copley, and Evelyn and Arthur for getting our Love Award in 2020. Let's move on to the next one.
Yep. Now it's time for our Flaming Nora Award.
Flaming Nora.
Which is the award for the best redhead on the street. Isn't it?
It is. The one we came up with when we were 8 years ago, thinking of funny names for our awards, and we thought, what could the Flaming Nora? I know, it'd be the best ginger on the street, and there's always a good selection of redheads to go around and choose. But for the past 5 years, Sally Ann Matthews has held on to this crown.
Yes.
Hasn't she?
Yeah.
Has she made it 6 years in a row? Let's find out who the competition has been. Jenny, Fizz, Craig, Chesney and Gary have all been fired up to take over this Flameheads. I don't know, Vixen's place. Have they managed it?
I love this category because I always wanted to have red hair when I was younger. I think it was Scully on the X-Files with her. She had red hair. It just looks amazing, and I'm jealous. And also, I love the fact that Coronation Street's got so many red-haired characters, and they're all I was gonna say they're not all angry.
They're not all angry.
Chesney's and Craig are very.
They're very docile,
and we haven't actually scientifically put this category together with colour charts or anything. I don't know whether Craig is actually...
Yeah.
Is he?
I know he's gone a bit
Gary,
blonde this
year. I don't know.
But
we haven't got colour charts, but we put them in.
Right, let's put our listeners out of their misery, Gemma. Who is it that's announcing this one?
It's probably me, isn't it?
I think it's your turn. Off you go.
Right, the winner of the Flaming Nora Award in 2020 goes to... Jenny!
Oh, of course it does.
6 years in a row.
6 years in a row.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Jennifer Connor. 52.47% was the percentage that you got this year, so pretty stonkingly good.
The next runner-up was actually Gary, which is surprising to me.
Well, this year has been all about, Gary, this year and last year, his lingering villainousness
and what
after the
qualities
murders of 2019.
Of the flame-haired ones do you think that he portrayed in 2020? Like murdering.
I wouldn't want to stereotype.
You don't want to stereotype. This whole category is a stereotype, Michael.
He's shown his true colours, and those colours are red.
Yeah, but
he's been angry. He's been gruff. But we're not talking about him. I was
just about to say he's not anywhere near as good as Jenny at all of those things.
What have you enjoyed about Jenny this year then?
Well, she's had a really good year actually, hasn't she? Because she is a legacy character. Although she had a big gap, but in initial appearances to her current ones, she's still a legacy character. We were watching her in the classic episodes in the 80s and 90s. So she's got a lot of history on the show, especially with Rita, who is another redhead.
Yes, did not get a nomination this year, Reed.
Sorry. No, and she, at the beginning of the year, for the 10,000th episode, she organises a Blackpool trip with Rita so they could run over ashes in a car park for another legacy character.
Yeah, it was Jenny that put together that trip, wasn't it? After first suggesting that they flushed Dennis's ashes down the loo, she did the second.
And I have
option.
to say, the scene at the end of the 10,000th episode where Rita cries and says that she was the best daughter she could have wished for really brought tears to my eyes.
Lovely.
What a beautiful tribute to two really great Flaming Nora characters.
Yeah, loved it.
She's
and watch it again if you haven't seen it for a while.
It is really, really nice, and I think it's one of those ones that gets better with time, because when we watched it initially we were just like, right, Dennis, no. But now it's like, it definitely was a really good tribute to Coronation Street of the past.
Yeah, now Jenny has been involved in a bit of a story this year, hasn't she? It was unfortunately one that was struck by COVID a little bit when the Scot appears and he seems to know Johnny, and so they've got a mysterious past together, and it's kept a mystery for a little bit longer than it needed to be.
Yeah.
But basically, Jenny ends up falling for the charms of this guy.
She doesn't fall for him.
Well, she doesn't know. She doesn't fall in love with him.
She is charisma, and he wins her over on purpose to get at Johnny.
Yeah, but she does rightly so look shocked when she realises that he's had a bit of a naughty robbery past with Johnny.
Yeah, one thing I will say about Jenny is that I think she is incredibly loyal, and I don't think people rate her for that, but she really is a very, very loyal character. There's no way that Scott would have turned her head. She flirts with people a lot, but that's just how she is.
Yeah, I was worried at one point. I thought, they're not going to have Jenny go fall for Scott and go out with him, are they? I'm glad that they didn't. And she's trying to hold the marriage together at the moment, but one might say that she's in a bit too much of denial about Johnny's state of mind and mental health regarding Scott's arrest and Johnny's imminent trial date. But we'll have to see where that goes. And of course, she's got a new daughter.
Stepdaughter Daisy
appeared out of nowhere.
What a minx.
In the past recent months, which gives me hope that next year we might see even more Jenny than we have done in recent years. So I still think she's been a bit of a background character, which is not right for the landlady of the road.
Get her right front and centre. It's a bit difficult when nobody can go in the pub, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
She had some really funny wine tasting scenes with Emma and Evelyn as well. I absolutely love Drunk Jenny. There has to be at least one good Drunk Jenny scene a year, at least.
I also enjoyed the scene this year where Jeff comes in, and I think he says that she reminds him of her mum or something, and then he calls her mummy. The look that she gives is
creeped out as well.
And she goes for the anti-back wipes or anti-back hand gel
sanitizer, yeah.
Anyway,
and also Sally Ann Matthews is like the queen of those facial expressions of like, bleh. She's so good.
So there was some stiff competition from Gary this year, but she still hold on to that crown for another year. Is she going to make it 7 years in a row next year?
Can I just ask you, is this our sexiest female soap star category? Is this the category that we really shouldn't have? And like Jenny's just going to win it every single year until we retire it?
No, it's fine.
I kind of hope that she does win it.
The honorary Jenny Connor Award. You never know what is coming around the corner.
Jenny Connor
I still say Dr. Howarth is going to come back and
come on, bring it in. Let's go, girl.
Now we do have an acceptance speech from Sally Ann Matthews. That's right. She sent us a little message to tell us just how pleased I'm sure she is about getting the Flaming Nora Award. So here it is. Here's what Sal has had to say.
Growing up as a kid and a teenager and being teased for being ginger, I would have done anything to change my hair colour and disown the fact. Think of Anne of Green Gables. And then I got to like my late teens, early 20s, and I was proud to be a ginger, to the point where if anybody ever called me blonde, I was furious. So thank you to everybody who's voted me once again the winner of the Flaming Nora Award, just to reinforce my gingerness, and I'm thrilled. So thank you for voting.
Thank you. Lovely.
We need to give, I think there should be a policy that if you win the award for 10 years, we actually make an award that you can have and put it on your mantle.
Oh yeah, maybe.
So that will be a goal.
I think, do we need to have like an acceptance speech for the acceptance speeches that get sent to us? I don't know what to say after people have said all those lovely thank yous.
No, I know.
Usually when they have proper awards shows, the acceptance speech finishes, then they play the music, and then it's off to the next award, isn't it? But
we could do that, couldn't we?
Oh man, no, it's fine. Thanks, Sal.
Thank
Lovely,
you.
Happy New Year. Lovely hearing from you again. Congratulations.
Yes.
Let's move on to the next award. Our fifth award of the evening is the Wrong Uns Award. Ooh, this is where we celebrate the very worst that Coronation Street has set off purposefully this year.
Love
with
a good villain.
Villains. This year has seen a fair share of villains, especially in the lead up to the 60th anniversary.
They're just crawling out the woodwork all over the place.
Yes, and we have, as with all the categories, got 5 nominees.
Involved in the same story at a certain point.
So we've got Gary, who we just talked about with the Flaming Nora Award. He has been just generally being a bit of a menace.
Yeah.
And keeping secrets about his previous nefarious deeds this year. Jeff, obviously, star of the Coercive Control story. We've had Ray, which has been, leading up to the 60th anniversary episode in December and his big plot to tear down half the street. We've had Debbie, his number 2. Well, after Roxy. And then Jade, who I always feel sorry for some of the characters that leave early on in the year, because it feels like by the time we get to these awards ceremonies, people forget about them. But I do remember back in January time being particularly gripped by the all the schemings and machinations that Jade was up to.
Imagine
trying to get Hope off of Fizz and Tie.
Imagine being back in January 2020 when you could just get on a ferry willy-nilly with a kid and go to France.
Yeah.
Can't imagine it.
Right. Gemma, would you like to announce? Or is it my turn to announce? I lose track. Okay, I'm going to announce it. The winner of the Wrong Uns Award for 2020 goes to Jeff Metcalf.
Oh, it had to be Jeff, didn't it?
It could only be Jeff Metcalf.
Isn't
and
he
82.79% of our voters have agreed. So a massive landslide for him. I think that's probably our highest percentage that we've got this year in the awards.
Yeah.
It couldn't be anybody else. Although it's very interesting how Ray was also, designed to be the big bad for the 60th anniversary. But, his plans stalled a little bit, didn't they?
Yeah.
And I think people have certainly grown to love to hate Ray more over the course of the year, especially because he was such a minor character at the beginning of the year. So he's done well to fight himself up to even getting a few percent that he did. So this is Jeff's second year in a row winning the Wrong Uns Award. And he also got Inside Soap Awards for Best Actor and Best Villain this year as well. So he has been
sweeping the boards.
Yes, he has. Sweeping the boards with awards. So he's been up to so much this year.
He's so naughty.
So nasty. I mean, I feel that this might not be the end of us talking about this particular story.
But one of the things that he did that I think people forget about, even though you voted for him in your droves, I think a lot of people aren't focusing on the worst thing that he did.
What's that?
Abusing Yelp for personal reasons.
Oh, yes.
Writing bad reviews for Speed Dial, that place.
Right, making Alia out to be a snobby cow.
Yeah, she's not at all. She's so not stuck up.
He probably logged on to write the review and go, oh, somebody beating me to it.
I'll just leave it.
Did I already do this?
I'll just put ditto.
He did that. He's locked Yasmin in a box. He's doing her crazy.
This was
he's
the
fed her a
ramping up this
chicken.
year.
He has.
No, it wasn't feeding her a chicken. It was
her
killing
pet
her chicken. Yes.
I mean, his crime list is fairly exhaustive.
Also managing to turn some of Yasmin's friends and neighbours and even family members against her by making her look unreasonable and spreading rumours about her and destroying her reputation as well, which I think for somebody like Yasmin, who prides herself on being part of the community, so much so that she even made a centre about it. That's a really bad and horrible thing to do to somebody, and also a really sort of useful technique for an abuser to do, which is to sort of get rid of the person's allies, so that they're stuck with you. Yeah.
I mean, Alia stuck by her, didn't she? And Ryan did, and eventually, I think Kathy was one round as well. But I remember she certainly wavered at some point this year. Sally was another staunch supporter towards the end. But Tim and Faye, they certainly took a long time to realise what a nasty piece of work Jeff was.
Well, if you can't give the benefit of the doubt to your old grandpappy, then what's the world come to?
I enjoyed seeing, as the year went on, how he was clearly losing control and realising that more and more people were turning against him, and like he'd have these anger fits, like he broke his Hoover one time.
Naughty.
He threw something across the room.
Yes. He became more violent, didn't he? He wasn't violent towards Yasmin in particular, but it did escalate to the point at which she began to fear for her safety when he got angry. And he also incited violence too. On the week of his trial, he goaded Tim into punching him so that he wouldn't have to testify against his dad in court. He spends a lot of time goading people so they get annoyed and then dobbing them into the police. He's a snitch.
Didn't he? Yeah.
He is a massive snitch.
Well, he got what was coming to him, as we've already mentioned. He ended up dead. Yeah,
on the floor.
Losing his court case.
Before that, he was psychologically dismantled by Imran in court, which was very satisfying. And then he was physically destroyed by his own stupidity and malice and rage when he fell off the roof trying to get Yasmin.
But even that wasn't the last we saw of him, was it? Because on Christmas Day we had a lovely surprise where he popped around for Christmas dinner.
It's lovely.
The turkey.
It was magical.
Certainly, it was. It was very, very fitting. I did enjoy that dream sequence. Oh, he had a couple of dream sequences this year, didn't he?
And I mean, the thing is, we don't know.
He's going to be haunting Yasmin's nightmares for a while.
It looked a bit like she was turning a corner, perhaps, the last time I saw her. But, you know, we could be seeing him.
I wonder where he's going to go down in the pantheon of Coronation Street villains, because I mean, personally, for me, I still don't put him right up the same level as you know, Hillman and Phelan and anyone like that. But and I haven't heard very much talk of like, is he even better than the greats like there was with Phelan?
He's in a completely different category.
Yeah, he is, for being, you know, more emotionally abusive than physically, which some of the others were.
If he'd murdered a few people, then we would be speaking about.
Yeah. But that wasn't his style, was it? Not his well, unless you're a chicken.
I think they did a pretty good job of making this a fairly realistic story, but they still added fantastical elements to it because of the dream sequences and the magic stuff and the special episode where he, you know, the magic trick and the birth of Giglet Jeff and stuff like that. Really great.
Oh yeah, Giglet Jeff.
Angles and tricks and hyper realistic. Looking scenes.
I just love the fact that when he came in, we were really not that keen on the character at all.
He was very bland, but also he was
irritatingly chirpy,
and he's really mean to people.
And so they turned that into.
I really wish I could listen back to what our initial thoughts about him were, because I don't think we would have ever have thought that he would be the centre of the biggest story, one of the biggest stories.
No, it just goes to show you never know what's going to come around the corner sometimes in Coronation Street.
And
even the smallest character can turn into, you know,
a big role.
Multi-award winning actor.
Ian Bartholomew, very talented performer, so scary and sinister, and when he puts on that deadpan voice and his eyes go black, terrifying.
Also seen him pretty good at tinkling the old ivories as well, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's just signed himself a record deal as Ian Bartholomew, so he's going to be alright. And he's released his charity singer for Women's Aid.
An actor getting involved in the soaps just to springboard their musical career. But yes, his first single was This Time It's Forever for Women's Aid. And so he's doing it for a good cause.
Yes. Congratulations, Ian Bartholomew and Jeff. Let's move on to our next award.
Now it's time for one of our favourite categories, the Right Laugh Award.
Oh, I do love a right laugh. Do you love a laugh?
The funniest character of the year. And there's some really funny characters. We've narrowed it down to our 5 favourites, and they are David, Evelyn, Emma, Shona, and Jenny.
All funny in different ways.
Yeah,
so
they are.
We'll see which type of humour has tickled the voters' funny bones the most this year.
Yeah, because you've got David, who's like sarcastic and dark, and not really a comic character particularly, but one who is very capable of delivering some well-timed funny lines. And Evelyn's obviously, you know, that in that tradition of the put-down character.
Yeah.
Shall we just announce who the winner is?
Go on then.
The winner of the 2020 Right Laugh category is Shona!
Oh, congratulations, Julia Golding. 41.75%.
What an unexpected win for Shona.
It is first time nominated in this category and she's gone straight for the top.
Absolutely love where they've gone with her. I'm a bit conflicted because I'm not quite sure whether I should be laughing.
I know.
This is the trouble.
That this character who's clearly got, you know, suffering mental problems.
She's not stupid, she's just got brain damage. Now, the thing is, there's a difference between laughing at somebody for something that they can't help and laughing with somebody. And I think the thing about Shona is that she seems to have a sense of humour. She gets down about it, but she also, I think, has a sense of humour about what it is that's happened to her. And she's got a new kind of cheerful attitude towards it, which...
yeah.
And then the fact that she delivered that line to Daisy where she said, "I'm not stupid, I've just got brain damage," shows that she's aware of exactly what's going on, and it's not like she's like a victim that we're making fun of.
No, this is what she's like now. And another line that she said recently was, "I can do anything I like as long as no one finds out."
Yes.
Which pretty much sums up her outlook for the past 6 months or so.
She's kind of become a cheeky, like, girl in a woman's body, hasn't she? Because she can get away with doing really strange things.
Yeah, and just she I mean, as a viewer of Coronation Street who sometimes finds characters a little bit annoying and you want to be able to tell them things, it's nice that Shona gets up and does it.
The funniest thing about Shona now is that she has no filter, and that's been a beloved trait of comic characters in Coronation Street since Ina Sharples just told everybody straight what she thought. So whether that's because you have a personality defect or you have brain damage, I think the end result is still the same. It's quite funny when somebody bluntly says what's happening. You know, British culture and many other cultures are, you know, like to hide things and obscure unpleasant truths. But when they are revealed in sort of a very blunt manner, it can be quite funny.
Yeah.
So that's what Shona does.
I've also enjoyed seeing her reactions to things as well. And sometimes if, you know, inappropriate or unfortunate things happen to other characters on the street, Shona's there straight away grinning, as maybe you really want to be able to do in that situation. Even with things like that time when she dyed Bernie's top purple by pouring drink over it, and then she's just grinning through the salon window.
That was fantastic.
Love it.
She became a bit of a surrogate viewer in that respect, didn't she? She also insulted her belt at the same time.
Yes.
She also she's also funny in, like, making jokes and things. Like, she made that joke about bunny trumps when Lily was getting her nose excavated.
Yeah. I've had a love-hate relationship with the new Shona persona this year, because in the back of my mind I'm still thinking, I really did like the old Shona, but is this realistic what would happen? I don't know, but as time's gone on and I've seen more and more scenes that have made me laugh as well by the things that she's done or reacted, I'm starting to accept more that this is what Shona's like now. And I don't know whether she's going to stay like it or whether she's just going to gradually, you know, turn back into what she used to be.
I think what will happen is...
I hope that they keep this comic edge to her.
I think what will happen is, like, her old memories might start to surface, but her personality is permanently altered. Because I really think that new Shona is so much fun. I was never a massive Shona fan before this, but I think she just is such a joy to watch now.
Yeah, when she was, she just had her accidents last year, and she was woken up from her coma. The doctor said to David, I think, because I sent you a screenshot of this the other day. She said like it could take a year for her memories to come back, which makes me think, oh, okay, so are we gonna start? Is she going to start seeing that? She's going to start remembering things once a year's passed? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see for that. But that was the other thing that I just wanted to point out that I enjoyed about Shona this year, was the fact that Julia Goulding's maternity leave was very, very smoothly, got around.
They did this so well.
It's always the case
slick.
almost always the case that the character goes off to see the sick mother, or some random excuse for disappearing away for months on end, and in some cases, like Rosie and Sophie, seemingly never coming back. But with Shona's character, yes, she did go off to Leeds for a bit, but they still had a few clips of her, didn't they? That they
did this so well
in the hospital bed, so it almost felt like she hadn't gone.
Yeah, Julia Goulding and the production team did a really fantastic job on the believability of the fact that Shona was in a hospital somewhere being treated, because like you said, we saw her. It didn't really feel like she left the screens for very long.
No,
despite the fact that she had hopefully the length of maternity leave that she wanted.
I think that she did. Did. Right, I think that's about all for this one. So let's move on to the next award. Okay, our next award is the Our Kid Award, which is what we call the award for the best young performer of Coronation Street, or the best child character. I don't know, are we awarding the actor or are we awarding the character? It doesn't matter. But we've got 5 nominees this year, all of whom shone in their own individual ways. We've got Asha, who, fresh from her success in 2019 with the Skin Lightening story, had another hard-hitting issues-based story this year with the sexting. We've got was it sexting? Is that what it's called?
Not sexting, because that's when you text somebody.
It wasn't that.
Messages.
Well, no, she did a bit of that as well. How else did Corrie get the message?
It was the video that got leaked that was the issue.
We have got Amy.
Nobody's gonna like spread rumours about a teenage girl for sending her boyfriend an aubergine emoji.
We've got Hope, who caught the tail end of the Jade story at the end of the February time. Sam, of course, who's already won 1 award this year. Is this going to make it a second? And Ardi, who has been recast this year very successfully by Adam Hussein, and has certainly looks set to take that role into a much more interesting, exciting way as time on the show continues. So let's see who the winner is this year. The recipient of this year's Our Kid Award, 2020 Conversation Street Award, is Asha Alahan.
Yeah!
Congratulations. 53.17% of the vote, so that's a stonkingly good percentage for you, and second year in a row that Asha has won this award.
Well done.
I'm really, really pleased for her. I still haven't got over the fact just what a renaissance the Alahans have had in the last year and a half or so, thanks to pushing Asha to the forefront. This year we've had Ardi being recast. And although they're still not being, shoved down our throats at all, every Alahan scene that there's been this year, the year before that, I've thoroughly enjoyed and look forward to it and relished, because I just think that the actors have got such brilliant chemistry together. Tanisha Gorey has really shown herself to be a revelation in the whole acting thing that she's been doing for 10 years on Coronation Street now, and we didn't realise until recently just how capable that she was at performing these brilliant dramatic storylines. No, because she hadn't been given the chance.
Faith in her and given her some really meaty stories, and she's totally lived up to. Really
has. She's been fantastic, and this year it has all been about that video that she sent to Corrie that one night when he asked her to undress in front of the camera, and then later on, a couple of weeks later, I think it was, when Asha refused to stick up for Amy at her birthday party. When she refused to stick up to Kelly at Amy's birthday party, Kelly ends up sending the video to everyone on social media, and then it just snowballs from there. Video gets put onto a porn site. Everybody is making fun of Asha about it. You get these horrible boys that are goading her and Ardi about it as well, calling her a slag and everything. It led to that great fight outside Victoria Gardens between Ardi and that other boy. And poor
really
old Dev in the centre of this, struggling. He's already finding being a single dad difficult, and then this is just the worst nightmare, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think it's really great that Coronation Street are tackling some stories for teens that feel relevant and modern to what life is like for...
unfortunately so.
A lot of pressure put on young girls to do things like this, and then when you do it, you get branded by stupid people for being, I don't know why were they looking at it in the first place? They're the perverts.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the whole thing is initiates a massive change in Alahan's life. Really, we haven't seen, it's been bubbling behind the surface, and it kind of comes up a bit every now and then, but it doesn't feel like a really big focused story. So Dev sending them off to Oak Hill, and then he starts to have money problems, and they're starting to experience a sort of change in circumstances that they haven't before, and can't get the latest trainers and have to work in the...
That's alright, she's got Corrie to give her a trainer, doesn't she?
Oh, isn't he lovely?
Yeah, the last time that we saw either Asha or Corrie was back in November, I think, when Dev starts to get a bit... He starts to cool to him, and he realises that his dad is also into golf, so he thinks, oh, maybe this Corrie's not so bad. But I think that we're not supposed to be liking Corrie at the moment. It's been a bit of a shame that we've not seen them for a month and a half or so, but I'm imagining that with Asha and Adi's birthday coming up in 2 or 3 weeks' time, when she hits 17, that's going to be... Is it 17 or 16? I can't remember now. But that's going to be the story's going to come back to the surface again. I'm very much looking forward to it. Watch this space there.
But yeah,
I was just going to say the last thing I think that Corrie said to Asha that we saw on screen was, now hopefully we can have more quality time together now we're on the pill, because Dev got his knickers in a twist thinking that Asha and Corrie were sleeping together when actually she'd just gone on the pill.
As usual, being punished for doing...
Or she'd taken
sensible precautions to protect yourself, and you get...
She wasn't taking the pill, was she? She just had it just in case.
But even if... Look, I just want to say, even if she wasn't taking it, or even if she wasn't taking it to, protect herself, contraception-wise, you can take it for lots of different reasons. And even if she is taking it for contraception, leave her alone.
Okay. I think it is just 16.
Stop shaming people.
She's turning in January, because that's the whole point. Anyway, I think that Tanisha Gorey is certainly a rising star, one to look out for in 2021.
Love her scene so much. She's very, very talented.
Yeah, and since the actress turned 18 last year as well, it's going to mean that they will be able to use her a lot more on Coronation Street. So look out for that.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Tanisha. What's that, Tanisha? You've got an acceptance speech that you'd like to share with us?
How lovely.
Go on then. Here's what Tanisha's had to say about winning the AOP Award.
Hi everyone, I hope you're all well. I just wanted to say a massive, massive thank you for voting for Asha, and Tanisha, the best the AOP Award. It honestly means the world to me, because it is the first thing that I've won. So thank you all again for voting for me and Asha. It honestly means the world. I hope you all have a great new year and make 2021 something a lot different than 2020. See you later.
Oh, that was nice, wasn't it?
Congratulations, you really
Tanisha.
Deserve it.
Absolutely deserve it.
I'm sure there are many more awards in your future.
Yeah, I hope so. I really, really think that there should be. Corrie would be foolish not to
utilise her talents.
Yeah, and as I said before, Alahan's really ones to watch, I hope, in 2021 and beyond. So with that, let's move on to our next award.
Here we are at the By Eck Awards. This is the category for shocking moments.
Oh, Gemma, what's made you go By Eck this year?
Now, tell me what the rationale behind this category is.
This is the category that is the best surprise twist, which we've renamed it this year. It's things that happened in Coronation Street this year that we didn't see coming, or not necessarily that we didn't see coming, that Coronation Street hadn't publicised before.
Yes.
So they were a shock to the viewers when they appeared on screen.
Things that Coronation Street didn't want you to know before you saw it on the screen, and didn't try to tell people about beforehand.
Yeah.
Yes?
And as a spoiler phobe, this is the sort of stuff that I live for when watching Coronation Street. You never know when it's going to happen. Well, sometimes you can kind of feel that there's going to be, something it might be building up to. But yeah, I absolutely love when they try to pull the rug out from under you.
Yes.
As they have done with these nominees. Who've we got this year,
really great, shocking things happened this year, including the fact that Ray was behind the sinkhole. Not in it. Not on it.
Not yet.
Just behind it, going, ha. It was me. Natasha raising Nick's child in secret for 10 years. It's a bit of a shock. Not as much to us as it was to Nick. Grace and Michael aren't Tiana's parents.
What? Neither of them?
By Eck. She's a mere stranger. Jeff falling to his death and being pecked by chickens. And that Adam was attacked in the bistro listening to some lovely music.
Yeah, I loved how there were 5 things. I think there might have been some of the bits that we couldn't nominate because we always have to have 5. I was really pleased that throughout the year these were peppered in because it's not always the case. Would you like to announce who our By Eck winner is this year?
The winner of the By Eck Award in 2020 for the most shocking moment in Coronation Street is Grace and Mark. Grace and Mark.
Oh my God! They're not even Tiana's parents.
Grace and Michael, not Markle, aren't Tiana's parents. And I have to say, if you're going to list everyone in the world who isn't her parents, you're going to end up with pretty much everyone.
But the thing with this is, we thought that they were.
Yes.
This was brilliant. I absolutely love this.
This is one of those twists.
This is a twist upon a twist because we kind of. We suspected that a twist was on the cards.
Yes, this is the thing. It was fairly well agreed upon in the sort of fan community that there was something afoot with Grace.
Well, she'd been dodgy all year, hadn't she?
And the most obvious thing was that it wasn't actually Michael's kid.
Mm.
And so a lot of people had guessed that Michael isn't the father of Tiana. And it was a question of when are they going to drag this one out?
Yeah.
But like you say, it was because of how strangely Grace had reacted, and there were some very odd things that she did throughout the year that, in retrospect, once you worked out what the twist was, make complete sense. And this is one of the best twist stories that Coronation Street's done for a very long time.
Yeah, well, beforehand, Grace was very frustrating a character to me because she'd come in for a few episodes, then disappear for months, and I was just left thinking, how am I supposed to invest in this character or the storyline if they never showed it? But that was part of the plot, wasn't it?
Yes, this is why it's a really great story.
In March, Michael suggests that he wants formal access arrangements to Tiana, and Grace doesn't react too well to that.
And the other thing is that I think it was last year, and at other points, she wouldn't let the Baileys see Tiana on special occasions, like Christmas or her birthday, and it was like, why is she being so mean? Why is she being such a cow?
And it's because she was with the actual parents. Michael wanted to be a full-time dad in July, but Grace said, no, this isn't going to work, we should just stay friends, because she had kissed him back in May after Michael gave a really sad speech to Tiana. Or it was after Ed did his anti-racism speech in the bistro. Then Michael was like, Tiana, you need to be really proud of yourself, because he was proud of her, who he thought was his daughter. Grace starts getting worried in September when Tiana calls Michael daddy, so she decides that she announces that she's going off to Spain.
See, this was good because when Tiana says daddy to Michael, and Grace gets weird about it and says she's going to move, everyone was thinking it's because he's not really the real dad and she feels guilty, or it's because she wants to move and she didn't want them to get attached to each other.
Yeah.
But actually it's because she the kid already had a daddy.
Yeah, and at the very end of September, Michael kidnaps Tiana, and I remember reading about that in the spoilers beforehand. I happened to see that, and I was like, oh, this is just ridiculous. Michael, why he's not going to kidnap? This is silly soap sensationalism. But then when it happened, it didn't seem too bad, and he was found pretty quickly with her, carted into the police station.
There's certainly a difference.
And then he has this amazing police interrogation where he gets assessed for his, mental health.
This was amazing. This was just like, I spent all of these scenes, I just had my mouth open, like, what is happening? What's going on? Why have they brought a doctor in? Has he imagined this baby?
It was confusing, but the moment that you suddenly realise what actually is going on here, it was just one of these, me and you looking at each other moments going, oh my gosh, they're actually doing this.
I love twists that recontextualise the entire story when you go back.
Yeah,
and this was one of those.
So Michael's asked, who do you think Tiana is? What's your relationship with her? Who do you think is Tiana's mother?
When they said, who do you think Tiana is, that was the question that completely made my brain freeze with confusion.
To me, it just made me think, oh, okay, they are going down this road of he's not the dad then. But then when she says, who do you think Tiana's mother is, I was like, what the heck? And then we find out that Grace Vickers is not the mother of Tiana, and that
was the weirdest Jerry Springer show I've ever seen.
And then I just loved how the camera was focused on Michael all that time. It was so much about Ryan Russell's reaction. I think
Ryan Russell's performance in this
was just right.
So good, because Michael is a very comic character normally. He's a bit goofy and silly and lovable and adorable. So to have this bombshell dropped on him and have Ryan Russell sort of give a performance that was a purely dramatic one, yet to stay true to the character of Michael, he pulled it off so well. Really, really great performance.
And Ed also kind of back in the waiting room as well.
I thought I love this as well.
For a story that has not been sold in any way as a major story,
I'm glad this one.
You expect the big twists in, the Jeff story or the Ray story, because they're the ones that are billed as the big stories of the year. But this just snuck right up and took us by surprise. Is why I think it's so fully deserving of a By Eck Award.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And guess what? We've got an acceptance message.
Another acceptance message.
From Ryan Russell.
Ryan Russell, how exciting.
So let's have a listen.
Hi, Conversation Street. Thank you for supporting Michael Bailey since he's arrived on the street. And again, thank you for everyone who voted. Take care. Stay safe. Happy New Year.
Oh, lovely. Thank you, Ryan.
Yay.
Really, really nice to hear from you. I'm so chuffed that you are happy with your By Eck Award.
Much deserved award in a really tough year for some really great competition.
Loved it.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Let's move on to our next award. Okay, our next award is the AOP Award, where we award the best fight of 2020. And much like the Hello Love Award before it, this was a bit of a difficult one for 2020.
It's very difficult to show physical relationships, whether they be kissing or punching, during a year when we had to socially distance.
Yeah, staying 2 meters. Although we did get a good punch just the other day, didn't we, when Paul bops that guy on the nose outside Underworld, so they're still finding their ways around it. This year we've had fights between Bernie and Kel towards the beginning of the year when she was trying to catfish him. We've had Fizz versus Jade when she whacks her with a chopping board after trying to steal hope away from them.
Knocks her unconscious on the floor, and then Tyrone comes in.
And Fizz's reaction is just whoops. Gary versus Ali, proper good old scuffle over Maria. Not the first or the last time she's been fought over. RD versus random teen who was goading him about Asha,
while
and
then picked up rubbish.
Exactly. Then on the same subject, we had Nina taking off her glove and giving a good old punch in the mouth to Jamie, another horrible oik who was making fun of Asha and her naughty videos all online.
Very elegantly done by Nina there, as she delicately removed her glove and then gave him a something great big thump in the face.
So, the winner of the 2020 Conversation Street AOP Award is Gary versus Ali.
Yeah!
Congratulations. Although I have to say this was a very, very close call this year, wasn't it? We had 39% voting for this fight. Nina versus Jamie was quite close behind with 32%, and even the Fizz chopping boarding Jade got 20% as well. So it was certainly not a clear-cut thing, but
I will say,
in any case, Gary and Ali, I think that's a great winner.
Gary versus Ali was the only actually traditional fist fight in the street. Fight.
It was more than a punch, and it was Corrie tradition. Two testosterone-filled guys fighting for the honour of something
insipid bird.
So Ali had been having his drug problems this year with his diazepam, wasn't it? And he had also been a close love rival to Gary because he'd slept with Maria days before she'd accepted Gary's proposal of marriage. Ali then gets his drink spiked by Gary with diazepam.
Oh, he's a villain, isn't he?
Somebody to do it, I can't remember. And then when this leads him to collapse when he's in doing his doctoring. So he, in revenge, I guess, kidnaps Maria, drives around Weatherfield with her. He's just lost it by this point, hasn't he? And then later on the episode, Gary confronts Ali in the street. He admits to spiking his drink.
I don't know. What are you going to do about it?
Ali chases after him.
I'm going to chase you around.
Punches him to the ground.
I'm going to punch you in the face.
Absolutely lays into him.
Yeah.
What's his face? Jon Snow and Ramsay and in Gordon. Gordon Game of Thrones.
Gordon of Thrones. It's sponsored by Gordon's Gin. This was also a really great fight, in my opinion, because it had a series of spectators who got involved on several different levels of engagement.
My favourite was Ryan Prescott, Ryan Connor legging it up the road,
yes,
Forrest Gump style.
I was going to say like the Terminator, but maybe somewhere in between the two there. Sprints up to drag him away. Yeah, and Toya and Imran are there Toya's as well. Like,
stop fighting.
I'm in it. Yeah, stop. Calm down, everybody.
Calm down. That is Toya's contribution to this fight.
People who are stressed out just need to hear somebody else tell them who isn't engaged in the process or has any emotional stake whatsoever in what's happening. Just calm down. It's not that bad.
And I liked how Gary ended up with blood all over his face from it. He calls Ali a psycho junkie, and
great.
They basically have to stop Ali from going after him again, but they get dragged apart from each other. But like you said, this was the only real
traditional
full-on fisticuffs. I suppose the Ardy versus that team was a little bit.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
This one just felt like it was.
The stakes weren't as high because it was Ardy versus anonymous annoying scrote, whereas this was like, are you Team Ali or are you Team Gary? I don't know.
Yeah, it felt like it went on a bit longer. There was full-on action cam. Having Ali running up to Gary to launch into him was a lot of fun.
Lots of running.
And I think people who have been waiting for Gary to get his comeuppance for the whole factory dropping on Rana's head kind of thing found some level of satisfaction in seeing him being beaten to a pulp.
It's not quite justice, though. We're still waiting for that.
It's not there. It's halfway there, isn't it? But yeah, congratulations to Mikey and James there for that performance. I thought that it was a very enjoyable fight, and let's hope it's not going to be too long before these restrictions are lifted and we can have some proper brawls in the street again in 2021. Let's move on to our next award.
Time for the Top Lad Award.
Oh, we're getting onto the big ones now, aren't we? We've had we got the top male character, female character, best storylines. It feels like these are the
meaty ones,
the big accolades. These are the ones that you really want to be getting.
Top Lad, best character of the year. There are
male character.
They're
not all lads on Coronation Street.
So we've got 5 nominees here. We have to apologise for our very archaic use of gendered terms, but these are the characters who identify as male. Nick, David, Steve, Gary and Jeff.
Always really difficult on this category because you've got the whole cast to choose from, haven't you?
Well, half.
Well, yeah, okay.
And we also put the villains in too, because this is sort of like the best character, and in the past we've not been shy in letting you know that the villains are very significant and dear to our hearts. I think Pat Phelan has won Top Lad.
I think he has once. Yeah.
So this is just your favourite character. Who has had the greatest impact on storylines? Who have you watched?
Do you enjoy watching the most?
Exactly. So some really hot competition here. All these characters have had big storylines. I mean, you've got Nick with his involved in the Ollie storyline, finding out that he's the father of the best new character. You got David,
what a burden,
who's been struggling with Shona, and also the sinkhole in the garden. You got Steve, who's has some really emotional scenes with Leanne as he comes to terms with what's happening with his son. You got Gary, who's just been running around being evil every now and then, on and off. And you got Jeff, who's just a bastard. So who has won the Top Lad?
Well, as the lady, I'll let you announce this one.
The winner of
a nice frock on, who's going to be joining you on stage for this.
I'll let you know. The winner of the Top Lad Award of 2020 goes to David Platt.
David Platt, he's only gone and done it again.
Congratulations. Second
David,
year in a row.
Yeah, this is the 5th year that David has won this. It's second year in a row because he did have a bit of a break for Pat Phelan, I think.
Yeah.
But 5th year out of 9 that we've been doing the Conversation Street Awards.
Absolutely love David. absolutely love Jack P. Shepherd's performance as David, and this is his 20th year being David Platt as Jack P. Shepherd, and the character's been in the show for 30 years, so that's pretty good.
Oh yeah, because he just hit 30, hasn't he, last week?
On Christmas Day.
Oh, I just can't stop loving David. The character
I said this before.
Brilliant, so watchable, so fun.
One of the best fictional characters of all time, in my opinion, because he's got such a rich backstory, and it informs his character in so many different ways, on so many different levels, to an extent that only a soap would be able to have a character like David Platt.
Yeah, he's one of those characters that the writers know back to front.
Yeah.
Jack knows him back to front.
Definitely.
And everything he does is always very, very much in character. You can think what would lead the character to do that, because, as you said, we know him so well. We've got 30 years worth of David history, and 20 of those years, being a relatively major character.
Yeah, and in a fairly high profile family. The Platt's one of the big families of the street, and he's had a year, hasn't he?
He has had a year. He started off with his wife shot in a box, having to deal with that,
getting to detubification process.
That was a great scene where he kind of breaks down in the hospital corridor, announcing to everyone that she's going to be okay.
I know, and the thing is about Jack P. Shepherd is that he can do the drama and the comedy, because David, and also the thing I like about David is he's got such a dark black sense of humour, just like me, and he is not afraid to make those jokes, and in even really inappropriate situations.
It's not just the fact that he can do the drama and the comedy, it's that he's equally good at both of them as well. He doesn't favour one over the other. He can literally do anything the writers throw at him, or so it seems. Which is why I guess they have thrown so much at him over the years.
Well, yeah, because it wasn't just Shona's shooting that he had to deal with. It was also testifying against Josh in court, because Josh was his rapist, and he was found guilty of raping him and others, and was sentenced to 15 years in prison.
Yeah, David was having to deal with this at the same time as Shona being in hospital.
Yeah,
that must have been kind of tough on the character.
Yeah, to and fro from Leeds, where Shona was there, and she didn't want anything to do with him initially, and he was, obviously shocked and upset by the fact that although his wife survived her ordeal, perhaps didn't come out of it the same.
She'll never be the same again. And David is he sometimes reacts badly to rejection, doesn't he?
He thinks with his boner.
Yeah, so he got busy with Alina pretty much straight away after this, but I don't think they got much further than second base, third. I don't understand the basis.
I don't understand the basis.
Because Seb comes in and chucks him out. So he decides to get his kicks in other ways midway through the year, which was his adrenaline junkie story.
This was so funny.
It was, wasn't it? Because it started off quite slow with him picking fights with random people. I remember there was a guy at the tram stop that he squares up to, somebody that's clearly much bigger than him, and we don't really see what happens there. And then there's clues like he has ripped T-shirts in the wash,
and it's not just a tribute to Shona.
And then we actually start to see some of these confrontations with various gangs on the Scally estates around Weatherfield, jumping on car bonnets, kicking over bikes, and just
living the dream.
He is, and the joy on his face as he's running away from them. It's a good job that he's a fast runner, isn't it?
Can you blame him? I don't. It was a bit Fight Clubby, wasn't it? It was like a one-man fight club.
Yeah, I read that this was a way that they wanted to show how David would deal with the loss of his wife in a way, because to all intents and purposes that Shona that he married is gone, but they didn't want his grief to be shown in the same way as they did with Daniel. They wanted something different.
Just moping?
They wanted something different than the usual moping, and thought, what would David do? And he is so chaotic, and you never know what he's going to do next.
Yeah, David is the true chaotic neutral of Coronation.
Yeah,
Street.
Looking back at this, I'm thinking, maybe he would do this, because he's got no. I don't know what it.
He's definitely wired differently to everybody else.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
He was born into chaos, wasn't he? Being Gail's son, he sort of set his stall out pretty early. Pushing her down the stairs and going on a rampage.
What else has he done this year? He was partially involved in the Gary, Sarah, Maria kind of story. There was a bit where I think he found out that Gary was still held a bit of a torch for Sarah. But and he got involved slightly in the Billy storyline because he was telling Billy that it's fine for Paul to go to do this phone line because maybe that's his way of coping it. So he was thinking back to his own experiences.
Yeah, he was like, if he wants to work for a helpline to cope with his loss, fine. Yeah. I mean, I beat men up, so his being quite productive.
But obviously, the biggest thing that David's been involved in this year is the new Shona persona, which we've already talked at length about after her
winners
award
here as well. Yeah,
earlier on this episode. So David
trying to
really
reintegrate
can do
Shona
no wrong in my life.
In your life? In his life?
In anyone's. I just think that he's really yet to disappoint me as a character.
No,
and
definitely.
He's one of those ones where if he's in a scene, you know it's going to be a good scene. There's going to be something enjoyable to take out of it.
I love the fact that of all the people, all the candidates that exist in the world, it is David's job to rehabilitate Shona to normal life when he is the most unhinged person in Motherfield, and that's saying a lot.
Very well. She did have that. Was it Aaron, the support worker? She just ended up trying to snog him.
Yeah.
So he
didn't last long, did he?
No. He's had a sinkhole in his garden. Less said about that, the better.
I mean, for many characters on Coronation Street, that would be the biggest thing that happened to them in a year. But for David, it's just sort of like a little asterisk at the end.
Because he did sell the house, didn't he?
Yeah, he sold his house.
The current status of number 8 is
belongs to Ray, actually.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we'll have to see in 2021 what's next for David.
David's already agreed to not be mean about Ray in return for him not going to the police.
We'll see how long that lasts.
About Shona and Simon's impromptu cocktail making session.
Yes, I am very much looking forward to seeing what David has got in store for us in 2021. I'm sure it will be just as gripping as ever, really, because great character. We actually have got an acceptance speech from Jack P. Shepherd.
Can you believe this?
Very exciting.
Is this like the pinnacle of our year, is getting Jack P. Shepherd to say something on the podcast?
I asked him the other day and he got straight back saying it'd be great to thank all the Conversation Street listeners for voting for him. So thank you very much, Jack. And here is his speech.
I just wanted to say thank you for the Top Lad Award, which is that best male character or actor? Either way, David Platt's won, right? And I'm truly over the moon with that. I am. And I've enjoyed playing the character now for 20 years. He's been on your screens for 30 years. And it's nice to see that he's been in the show for so long and you still regard him as, the best, the top lad. So thank you very much. And hopefully we get to see more of David and what he's up to on his journey. Because you have to remember, he's still quite young. You know, he's only 30. So hopefully there's a lot more to come from the character. And hopefully it'll be me that's playing him. So thank you very much. And cheers. Thank you for voting.
Oh, isn't it lovely? Best character, so best actor, doesn't matter. As you said, David won it.
David won. David won.
It was you.
And you're David.
Just right for his 20th year on the show.
Brilliant.
Although, in fact, this is the fifth year
running,
in a row.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's not 5th year running, is it? 2nd year running and 5th year that he's won it. So you probably won it on your 15th year in the show as well.
Yeah.
And hopefully many more years to come, because again, as you said, Jack, there's still a lot of life left in David, hopefully played by you. So congratulations,
thank you so
top
much,
lad.
Jack. Congratulations.
Really great award.
You deserve it.
Couldn't have gone to anybody else in my eyes. Let's move on to our penultimate voted for award of the night. Number 11, our 11th award this year is the Top Lass Award. We've just had David winning the Top Lad Award, so let's see who'll be sitting next to him on the Corrie throne when it comes to the end of 2020. We have got 5 nominees for this: Leanne, Yasmin, Abby, Evelyn and Sally. And
some top lasses there.
There are loads of top lasses there, as always. That we could have made top 10 nominations, because Corrie is all about the women characters, isn't it? Although they've got some good competition and with some of the male characters as well, I have to say.
Well, they've had some really great stories for these characters. I mean, Leanne has been embroiled in perhaps is it one of Jane Danson's toughest stories ever?
Well,
as
they've
Leanne.
thrown so much at her over the last 23 years.
Risen to the occasion so well. She's constantly refreshing. I don't know. Such great performance by Jane Danson, but it's a very dark story that Leanne is involved in with the death of her son. We've got Yasmin again, another really dark story where she portrays a woman who has been abused by her partner.
Yeah, and we've seen her triumph
over years,
over
basically. Yep, and we've got Abby, who is the hero of the street. If you want to be rescued from your predicament, and it's some kind of physical issue that you have, if it's mental, she can't help you. But if you're like in danger in some way,
she's going to kick down that door and heave you out.
She will. She'll save you every time. Yeah. I love it.
And then blow up the car of the person that got you into that state.
Evelyn, who is one of our most treasured recent additions to the cast, as the battle axe of the street, and of course Sally, who has been in the show for many a year now, and Sally Devener now has an MBE.
Oh yeah,
so perhaps she's already had an award, and maybe we shouldn't give her another one.
If she wins this one, which one would she think is the most important? I don't know. She's obviously had the story where she's remarried Tim this year after finding out that he was a bigamist, and been involved in the Jeff and Yasmin story as well as one of her staunchest supporters.
Yeah, well done, Sally.
So, time to announce the winner. And the person who's come out on top in the Top Lass Award for 2020 is Yasmin.
Yes!
Congratulations.
Oh, I'm so happy, Yasmin. Really, we said Shelley King deserves all the accolades for her performance as Yasmin. She has worked really hard. She's taken kind of, I don't know, Yasmin was a relatively minor side character for a long time, but we always really loved her. Really enjoyed her performance.
I remember speaking to her a few years ago and saying to her, we need more Yasmin. She said, there's things coming. I hear that there's something in the pipeline. So this story has been a very long time coming.
Definitely.
And I've been so pleased as somebody who's been an adamant Yasmin supporter right from day one.
Love her.
That she's now risen to the ranks of Top Lass.
Definitely.
And really won a place in the heart of many Coronation Street viewers because of her role in this story. And I hope that
she's so
now
good.
the story is kind of over. And I know with these sort of stories, it's never over because there's the whole PTSD angle. I hope that Yasmin can still carry on being a major character and being so beloved by the viewers.
That's the thing. Yeah, I really think that Shelley King is so charismatic and charming, and Yasmin has those qualities as well, so it helped the story for her to be such a really likeable character. I don't know that she was on everyone's radar but now that she's had this story, I think that people are going to think of Yasmin a bit differently, and I think she's really won a lot of hearts with the story.
I've loved seeing her change her loyalties throughout the year, because she kind of starts off the year, fairly still a Jeff supporter really, and even though he's been vile to her already for 6-12 months, she's still blind to it almost. And then when it comes to May and finally everything that he's been putting her through, the feeding her the chicken, the trapping her in the box, everything builds up to her glassing him in the neck. Everyone is cheering on and like in disbelief about what they're seeing on the screen, but also cheering as she's stabbing him with a wine bottle.
This was really poignant as well, because this was this story became a product of COVID-19 and the way that they had to recut the episodes across 2 weeks. So 1 week's worth of episodes was spread across 2 weeks. And so you had the drama of Yasmin stabbing Jeff and him collapsing, and then you had a weekend between that and then the next part of the episode, or the next episode, which would have been a double bill. And we had to wait to find out how Yasmin was going to react and what was going to happen. Is Jeff dead or not?
This was an exciting moment.
I know that Coronation Street doesn't seem to have carried that kind of cliffhanger spirit into the new batch of episodes that they've produced since COVID, which is kind of disappointing to me, because those cliffhangers, as cheap as some people thought they were and didn't like them, I love them. They're such an effective way of telling a story in a soap.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really felt that added to the drama of that particular
that was
part
one of my favourite moments of the year.
Really
and then after that, we got to see her, getting arrested, still trying to blame herself for it, worried about what Jeff was going to say.
Because she's such a good person. This is the thing about Yasmin. She's such a beautiful person. Remember when you had the story with Rana and her falling out of love with Zidane and choosing Kate. And what Yasmin said to her was so nice and touching.
Yasmin has been kind of the wise woman, comforting, shoulder to cry
She's
on.
like the soul, isn't she? She's got such a pure soul.
And this year has seen that soul just ripped from her.
Yeah.
And she's left a husk of a woman, over the course of the year. I mean, it's partly from talking to her cellmate in prison, reading the book, Elaine turning up on the scene, Alia never giving up on her. We've seen that fire reignite again, just in time, fortunately, for her to kick Jeff where it hurts in the trial scenes just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And now she's out. She's still not, back to her bouncy, bubbly self.
No, but she is resilient though. I mean, and she tries so hard as well. It was really sweet when she was motivated to kind of like cook that Christmas dinner for everybody, but then it all went horribly wrong when Jeff's memory was sort of appeared in the room and she collapsed.
Yeah.
There's definitely a lot still to come, I think.
There is, and I hope that we will see a lot of Shalib as well, because in the second half of 2020 when she was in prison, there were weeks and weeks where we didn't really see much of her. So I'm hoping that Shally King used that as a bit of a time to recharge her batteries after what must have been a very tough few months to film beforehand, and now she's ready to hit 2021 with the hit the ground running and hopefully lighten up our screens for many, many months.
Absolutely love Yasmin.
She's brilliant.
And we said that for years.
Yep, fantastic. Congratulations, Yasmin and Shally King. And now it's time to move on to our final award.
This is the That's Champion Award for the best story of the whole year.
This feels like the big one, the actual proper big one.
Yeah.
When you start the year off, what's going to be the thing that you remember that year for?
Yeah.
This basically is, isn't it? And with the 10,000th episode, with the 60th anniversary, Coronation Street really had to pull out all the stops and serve up some corkers to make this a year to remember.
And they had so many challenges thrown at them this year, we all know. And to come out with such a batch of great stories is testament to how hard everybody who works on the show, all the team behind the scenes, the storyliners, the directors, the producer, no matter how much crap we give you over the year, nitpicky complaining that we say, we're fans of the show and we absolutely love it when it's on top. And it's had, like I said, some really great stories this year. So some of them have included the 5 that we nominated for this award category are the Asha's Photos storyline.
Yes, Asha Flashes.
With a video, I think, as well.
Yes.
Ollie being ill and then dying.
Serious case of the Ollie Wobbles.
Very Dickensian. The coercive control storyline we've spoken a lot about already. Ray's evil plot
to raise the place.
Yeah. And then also Daniel being sad about Sinead.
I don't even remember what we called that.
Mopey Dan.
Dan in the dumps, I think we called it, didn't we?
So, some fantastic stories. Absolutely love them. But which one won? The winner of the That's Champion category for the Conversation Street Awards 2020 is Coercive Control.
Wow, and 80.81% of the votes as
Very
well. This is
big win.
Huge landslide for this story. I'm so pleased. I don't know what more there is to talk about it, really.
We've said a lot. I don't know if you mentioned that Shally King won some awards for Best Actress earlier in this year.
Oh yeah, she has. She's been winning other awards as well. Yes, there were other ones other than the Conversation Street Awards. Best Soap Actress at the TV Choice Awards she won this year.
So
she missed out the Inside Soap, sadly, so hopefully this will make up for it.
The Inside Soap Best Showstopper Award went to Yasmin Fights Back, so that was good.
Oh yes, that's true.
And this has been this has been going since summer 2019, but last year people voted for Sinead's cancer battle to win the 2019 awards. But it's been...
And this has been going since...
It's been going for a long time,
summer 2018.
It's been going for a number of years. And like many good issues-based storylines in Corrie, it's been associated with a charity, so Women's Aid for this story, and the Lee Foundation for the Oliver storyline, which actually got second place in the That's Champion. Women's Aid have seen an increased number of reports from people seeking help because of the story that has been shown on screen, and we've heard from listeners who have spoken to us about their own personal experiences and how they've overcome years of abuse from their partners. So it's really great that Coronation Street is educating, because I didn't realise that coercive control was actually a crime.
Yeah, it has been for 4 or 5 years or so.
Yeah, and Claire's Law as well, that's another thing I didn't know about. So Coronation Street is teaching people and sort of keeping us on the edge of our seats at the same time, and that's when
helping
soaps...
people to get out of these situations.
Yeah, that's when soaps are at their best for me, when they tackle things that happen in real life and they help you to reflect on things that happen to real people. And I can't think of two better stars to have handled this than Ian Bartholomew and Shelley King, who are both really experienced actors, great performers, gave it their all this year and throughout the whole story, and really helped to bring this to life. I'm so charismatic, both of them. And
this story it's quite notable that this has won the award as well, considering that you would have thought that in the run-up to the 60th anniversary, it'd be maybe the Ray story that would have captured the most hearts, or even the Gary story. I think if you were to have asked us a year ago what's going to be the focal point of the 60th anniversary,
I wouldn't have thought it would be this.
Absolutely not. I think we thought this would have been over by Easter time. I thought, that's going to be the big unveiling of Gary, but that's still to come.
You don't know what the plans were. I don't know whether this was planned to have finished earlier in the year or not, but I'm really glad that it got centre stage.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think so many people contributed to this as well.
I'm really deserving of scene of the year, of story of the year, because it had so many memorable scenes. The magic box scene, the chicken eating scene, the bottling scene, the Jeff Dream scene. This just goes on and on and on.
Really
how many
imaginative
is right scenes of the year were from this story.
Yeah. Really
and
great.
I hope that they can take that imagination into the stories that are going to be the focus for next year.
They took some risks with this. They really did, because it's a very much grounded in reality story. Coercive control is sort of, is something that happens in homes across the country, and it's very, very serious. And Coronation Street managed to be very creative with it, but still respectful to what the story that they were trying to tell, I think. And Ian and Shelley gave great performances, but they were by no means the only ones involved in this. You've got to give a shout out to Sarah Khan for her performance as Alia.
And Alia's picked up quite a lot of fans, hasn't she, this year, because of her role in this story. So that's worth celebrating.
And him struggling with what he thought was a really great father figure, like realising that a lot of what he thought wasn't
ruined
real.
His childhood for him. Sally having to fight against her husband, or
that was great. The tension that introduced to that couple's relationship was really good. You got Ryan, who was Alia's sidekick. That was great fun.
And Elaine, of course, as well.
Yeah, a new character that I love. I love Elaine so much.
Yeah, and we didn't even nominate her on the Best New Character Award, did we? I think it was because it felt like she was so minor, and I don't think we realised whether she was coming back at that point as well. But if she is staying, then she's definitely one to watch, because she's a real asset to the show. Yeah.
I think also a big shout out has to go to Imran for this story. I think this is partly his contribution to that big week for the story, where he gave his impassioned breakdown of Jeff in the stand and his detective work and his little video presentation.
It was really satisfying.
For many people, that was the best part of that week's story.
Yeah.
So
I don't think there's going to be too much opposition to this winning, indeed.
Yeah.
And we've
got to just say also, it was especially a poignant storyline for people watching, because domestic abuse over lockdown increased, where people were trapped together in houses and perhaps didn't have that escape mechanism or ability to let off steam, and sadly it's been a big issue for people, and being able to watch and contextualize what's happening to them and see it through sometimes when you see somebody being treated the way that you're treated, it takes that to make you realize that what's happening to you is not acceptable. And I think a lot of people, a lot of women and men, saw that behavior being directed at Yasmin, who's a really lovable figure, and went, that's not right, and that's happening to me, I've got to do something about it. So
yeah, absolutely. And we do have an acceptance speech for this. I wonder whether people were wondering after Shelley won her award and she didn't turn up to an acceptance speech. Well, she has got one. She's recorded something that covers both of these two awards. So here is what she has to say about winning some awards this evening.
Hi, and thank you to Michael and Gemma for letting me be a part of this special New Year's podcast of Conversation Street. Thank you all for voting for me for Best Lass and for the storyline for Champion Story, and I'm really pleased. And Barty, I believe, has got Best Villain and Best Exit, but I know that Charlotte will be very displeased because she was hoping to win that herself. In fact, she's quite clucked off. But anyway, thank you all so much. I'm very proud. I'm very proud to be a part of Coronation Street, and have a good New Year's Eve. And well, you've had it by now, I guess. Well, I hope you all had a good time, but please be careful out there, because we're all in tier 4 now, well, most of the country is, and we want no more tears soon. So bye for now. Bye-bye.
Oh, isn't she lovely?
Oh, I love her so much. Thank you so much.
Really, really nice
really
of you to send
this award.
send that in and say thank you to all the people who are voting for you. Definitely deserved. I'm really pleased that you were happy to get that. We're
so happy, so glad.
I wish we had proper awards to give out.
I know. One day we'll save up all the money from Patreon for a year and hire out a little convention hall in a hotel somewhere in Manchester.
You know what? Next year is our 10th Conversation Street Awards. Can you believe? So maybe.
Well, it wasn't ever going to happen this year, was it? Let's face it.
Well, they're going to have their new place in the
well, maybe hire that one out.
Media City, won't we?
Might be a bit of conflict of interest, but money speaks, doesn't it? So thank you to everybody who voted in these awards. Thank you for listening for this year. We hope that you've enjoyed.
Thank you for spreading the word about the awards and everything. It's always a real highlight of the year.
I love celebrating all the things that happened in Corrie by doing these awards. It really ends the year on a happy high note.
Yes, but there is still one more award to go, isn't there? This is not a listener voted award. This is just something that Gemma and I have been picking for the last few years. This is the Mad for It Award, which was set up in memory of a listener, Diane, who sadly passed away a few years ago.
Yeah, this is a tribute to her every year.
Big fan of Coronation Street. She wrote for the Coronation Street blog. She loved the podcast. So we've for now, this is the third year, I think, that we've had the Mad for It Award, where we've celebrated a particular listener of the podcast
in her
who's
memory
gone above and beyond to support the show.
It's supporting the community and the show and being part of our little Corrie fandom group.
And we've got such a wonderful community of listeners.
It's so hard to do this.
It's really, really hard to choose. It makes me wish that we'd been doing it longer so that we could have celebrated more people, but there's still hopefully many, many more years to come.
Hopefully.
But should we announce who the winner is?
Well, it's your category.
Oh, let's do it together.
Okay.
The winner for this year's...
What are we going to do? Let's say the name.
We'll say the name. I'll announce it. And you can say
That's a good job. We're practicing
no
this
rehearsals.
As we go.
The winner of the 2020 Conversation Street Mad for It Award for Best Conversation Street Listener.
It's not best comedy.
I've got it wrong.
Contributor to the community.
You know what it's for. It is John Jew. Congratulations, John.
Thank you so much for everything you've done this year. I know it's been a really hard year. It's been a hard year for everybody, but I know John's had a really tough time. So his dedication to posting in our group, he always put the Corriepedia survey results in there, didn't he, about which character was where.
He's tweeted a lot in support of us. He's posted on the group. He's given loads of suggestions to the listener questions as well. This one, I think back to the fact that John's also a relatively new listener to the podcast as well. He's jumped right in there and got involved at every stage. He's also listened.
I was going to say,
since starting listening to the podcast just over a year ago, he's now listened to every single episode, and that's quite a few hours of podcast listening. That's just
8 years worth of Conversation Street. Yeah,
all squeezed into 1 year.
So we definitely need to give you something for that.
It should be awarded. So congratulations, John. Hopefully you'll continue to be a listener of Conversation Street for many years to come. And
thank you to everyone else. We really, really love you guys. You've helped each other and us to get through a really crappy year, and it's really nice to be able to log on to the Facebook group and read all your comments and to have little discussions, and I won't say arguments, about different people's opinions about things. I really like the fact that we can have different perspectives. I like the way that people say, if they've been through something similar, they can talk about it and say whether they think Coronation Street is doing a good or a bad job. I just love the community that is around this podcast.
Really proud of the community that
one of the best
through the podcast. It's
parts
lovely
of doing this show.
And I think that's it for the Conversation Street Awards. Like I said at the beginning of the programme, we will be doing our usual summing up of the year and predictions for 2021, but that will have to wait for a later date. Probably next week we'll do that.
We've got to do the predictions as soon as possible because I've got them all done.
I know. We will
and they're going to start becoming irrelevant when I'm like, I think that on New Year's Eve, Gary is going to...
We will find out very soon what our predictions are. We've got it all ready, but I think we've spoken enough today, and it's about time we got ourselves ready for the New Year's festivities.
I've got to get my glittery ball gown on and my sequins and my...
You mean we're not already doing the award in our best clobber?
I'm wearing my pyjamas, which actually is my best clobber.
I've got a Christmas jumper on still as
I've got a rude slogan
the last day that I think that I can wear this.
Got a rude
double
entendre on my t-shirt.
Inappropriate.
I can't even actually say it because it is a rude word, but it's not spelled in a rude way. Perhaps I'll put a picture of it on Twitter.
Thank you everybody for listening, not just for today but for the whole year and the whole of the 8.5 years that we've been going. It really, really does mean a lot to have so many fantastic supportive listeners, and we've got plenty more to come in 2021.
How have we been going for 8.5 years, but next year's going to be our 10th awards? That doesn't make sense.
It does. It works, I promise you.
Okay, you'll do them. I'm not good at maths, don't you?
Right. Goodbye, everybody.
Right, we're going now.
Thank you for listening, and very, very happy New Year. And thank you to everybody, all our winners who sent in.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And if you had extra special,
if you had your name called out and you didn't send an acceptance speech, we still will take it whenever you want to send it through.
Yes. Oh, and like I said, most of these came with videos as well, so we'll be posting those on social media over the next few days as well. So look out for those.
Thank you, everybody.
Cheers,
love you
everybody.
all.
Happy New Year. Bye.